What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Free Life. This is a special edition. We are talking about fatherhood today, celebrating our fathers. We have Father's Day coming up, so happy Father's Day to every father out there. As a person that my father is in heaven, God has sent me a lot of, surrogate men to speak into my life to help fill that void. My father was great. He was awesome. He was a quartet singer. He was a pool plasterer, a businessman. He was a devoted husband. And in our later sessions, we're going to talk about, being a black father. But we also, my dad spoke into my life a lot, and I wanted to be like him, and I wanted to do music because of my dad. And so today we have some awesome fathers. We got some awesome sons on the panel. I'm gonna introduce myself. Well, I've already introduced myself. I'm gonna introduce my sons. This is my youngest son. Knees down so they can see your face. All right, and he sucks his thumb. This is Justice. Justice is, how old are you? 5. Justice is 5, and Justice has a birthday coming up. And this is my oldest son in the glasses, Dominion Jones. He's a producer, calls himself Scott Blue. And this is my middle son, Canton. We call him Styles. He's my brain. All right, and so these are my boys. We have my 2 good brothers right here, Emmanuel Reynolds. I said it right, and Kevin Hawson. And so, brothers, thank you for bringing your sons. Introduce yourself. What do you do? And also, your son that's on the panel.
I'm Emmanuel, rapper, producer. This is my oldest son, my pride and joy though, Christian. Say hey.
Hey.
How old is Christian?
8.
8. That's right. All right. And Kevin Halsey.
I am Kevin, better known as GCS. Yeah. Right. I'm a rapper, everything free life. And this is my youngest son, Jeremiah. And Jeremiah, tell him how old you are.
I'm 10 years old.
10. You got a birthday coming up soon.
All right. So I brought these gentlemen on the panel because these are not only black fathers, but these are black husbands. And so you have a level of commitment that not only that I am the father of these men, but I am the husband to their mother. All right? And so that's a different level of commitment. One level of commitment is being a father, and a dad and a friend and pouring into their life. Another level of commitment is being a husband to their mother. All right? And so we're going to talk about that today. I want to read a scripture that I feel like is so vital to our conversation. And it is the last passage in the Old Testament. So between this passage, the scripture that I'm about to read, and Matthew chapter 1 is 400 years. All right? Between the Old Testament and the New Testament, it's 400 years. So the Old Testament, this is the last scripture in the Old Testament. And I thought it to be so key that before Jesus came, this is what God said through the prophet Malachi. Malachi 4 and 6. And it reads, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. All right? So God ended the Old Testament with the turning of the hearts from the sons or the children back to the father, and the hearts of the fathers back to the children. And he says that if that doesn't happen, the curse is going to happen. So I thought and then later on, that, the Old Testament ends and Jesus comes onto the scene. And I felt like Jesus came onto the scene to restore those passages, those scriptures. And he, in my opinion, is Jesus. All right? And so we're going to talk about the restoration of our families. Now, bro, I'm gonna start with you. You came from a household. You had your mom, you had your dad. So we didn't really grow up without a father. You had your father's household. Talk about the difference in your life that you felt as opposed to guys that wasn't raised up with a father. So talk about that.
All right, so the neighborhoods that I grew up in, it was obvious that I was probably one of the few that had a daddy in the house.
Wow.
My decision making was different. My dad was real discipline heavy. My mama was too. But my dad was one of those types, or is one of those types that if I tell you one time, that's it.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell you no
Next
more.
time is a whop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's gonna happen real quick.
Yeah.
He was also adamant on as I got older, if you go to jail, you in jail. Like don't call me to bail you out, don't call your mama to bail you out. If you in there, you in there.
Wow.
That's how I was raised. So, you got people around you that's making decisions that it seems like they don't care what happens. Mama gonna bail me out. My brother's gonna bail me out. Somebody's gonna bail me out.
Right, because maybe they've seen it too.
Yeah.
That the family comes to the rescue no matter what happens.
No matter what happens. And Pops was not like that at all.
So were you disciplined by your parents?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So my mom is quick. She go from 0 to 100 like that. All right. But after so many times, you know how your mom gonna react. You don't care. Dad don't react until he gotta react. But when he reacts, that's the only reaction that I ever needed my whole life.
Wow.
Right? Man, my dad caught me square in the chest while he was driving. Like he just reached over.
Just punch you in the chest.
Yeah, while he was driving. While he was driving, we in traffic and everything. He
Right.
just whop, and all that air just.
All right.
I ain't breathed for about 4 blocks.
And, and we think about how parents might spaz out, but then now that you are a parent, talk about the inheritance or some things that your dad left, and even your mom too, but kind of stressing the dad because it's Father's Day. What did dad leave that you're now passing to your child?
Respect, discipline, respect in the manner of, yes sir, no sir. He says it, no matter who he's talking to, adult-wise is yes sir. He might say yeah, and every now and then he'll look over at me and I can make yes sir, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yes man. So the respect factor, we still learning to, your business. We still learn that, like, mind your business, everybody else's business, everybody else's conversations ain't for you. We still working on that, man. But really, what's big and what I see a lack of in other kids that don't have that dad influence in their life, it's just that respect factor.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to somebody that's older or in a position of power, to respect that person because I don't know, what I might need from that person,
Right.
or who that person may be. And if they serve some kind of importance in my life, you deserve that respect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things. And also, man, doing stuff yourself, being independent. My dad always said you got more time than you got money. So when it comes to like fixing cars and stuff like that,
Okay.
he gave me, I had a choice, right? So back, when I was able to get a car, it was the box Chevys. And so I found one, bruh, for $1,000. All original parts, bruh. Cleaned in the mud, you turn it over, it crank up. My pops was like, boy, you don't need that car. Got me a plunker. A plunker, bruh. Like, it was hard, but it was a little red car. Little red plunker, bruh. And everything that I had was like, everything that I learned about cars, I learned from that car. So tune-ups, changing tires, everything, putting a system in it. Like, he was like, bruh, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to do it yourself.
Right.
Because you got more time than you got money.
Wow.
And so that bled over into my adult life. Like, I'm gonna try anything before I gotta go call somebody and get some help for it.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So same thing with him. He like building robots.
Yeah.
So we built his first robot with him. The second robot, he was in that mud like, hey, just go ahead.
So I will talk about, like, how do you do that? That's so genius because I seen you build a robot and it worked. So what inspired you to start building robots?
I like robots because they're cool and it helps people learn new stuff.
Ah, it helps people learn new stuff. That's good stuff, see? and you're very smart. All right. So this is a monster producer too, by the way. He produced I Can't Help It. You produced some other stuff for me, and he's gonna produce for me forever. So this is my little brother. All right, now this is Kevin Halsey, GCS. Kevin, talk about your experiences through your life, and you know, were you raised with a father in the household?
I was, but my upbringing was a little different. My pop was in the Navy, so for what I remember, from 6 months to a year at a time, sometimes I wouldn't see my dad.
Wow.
So it would, of course, it hurt because it's like, hey man, with my dad, he can't take me outside to throw the ball around. He can't ride. He can't teach me how to ride a bike. So the kids in the neighborhood on different naval bases taught me how to do that type of stuff. Like
wow.
My sister, I got an older sister. She's 4 years older than me, so she beat me up all the time. Like we fought, so like that was my she kept me tough. You know what I mean? Cause like without having my dad around, like I said, it was hard for me. Like, cause sometimes I would forget what he looked like. You know, me being that young and him not being there. But growing up, I think it was kind of harder for me because of that aspect of my life. I think he got out of the Navy when I was like 19. Mm-hmm. So by that time, you know, it's like you're there, but I felt like I bucked a lot. Like I know my mom was there. I was always with my mom, with her side of the family. Like I was upset because I really didn't know his side of the family, like female side of the family for my mom. It's all girls. Like I had one other boy cousin. So it was hard for me to adapt. And then living on naval bases, we had to move and we still had boxes packed up.
Wow.
So it was like, it was hard for me to.
Sound like free life.
Yeah. It was hard, but at a certain age, I heard God tell me, like, you gotta apologize to him.
Wow.
Because I was bucking, like I didn't want to listen to what he said. I told him one time, like, he wasn't a good dad because I was hurt. Wow. So my hurt from him not being there, we had a conversation one day and I told him, I was like, man, yeah, that kind of messed my mind up. Like you weren't there, and I had to lean on my mama and my sister for stuff. And he was like, well, he said, I apologize, but I didn't know that it would affect you like that. I was just trying to feed the family. So, I mean, we chopped it up, hugged, you know what I mean? That's my dude. Like you only get one dad. Like, that's my dad. So. Of course, I'm not gonna stay mad at him forever, but
so as things change.
Yeah.
And how, based off that perspective, do you interact with Jeremiah?
This guy.
Small hands.
If I let him hang from the ceiling, he'll hang from the ceiling right now. You know what I mean? He's wild. Of course, I try to do as much as I can with him. Like he hard headed, like I was. Of course, you know what I mean? Like. You can't get around that, but he's inquisitive. He wants to know a lot. He wants to do a lot. So I have to basically tell him what he want to know. I mean, he asks questions. Y'all know, everybody know he asks questions till the cows come home.
Hey, I was riding with, what I tell you, you had a 10-question limit. When he was riding with me, I was like, he asked 2 questions. I was like, now you down to 8. And he was like, so what is that? So what does that mean? I was like, you know you just asked 2 questions.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's my man. He got the lawyer on his life, all that swag. So talk about your dad and how blessed you are to have this dad. Talk about your dad, Jeremiah.
Well, he's a cool guy, and me and him, I ask him to watch movies sometimes, but I can't do that a lot of times because he has work to do with y'all, because you call him Beast. He has to do a lot of work. So it's times where we can do that stuff, but we can't at the same time.
Okay.
And I play football with him sometimes out in our yard and play catch. And I'm just grateful to have a dad next to me. He keeps me tough.
And he gets beat up on the regular. We fight a lot.
All right, that's awesome. Okay, let me hear from my boys. I'm gonna start with Canton. So Canton, you're in a school, public school, where there's different types of kids there. You have a dad that's a pastor and kind of busy, but daddy challenges you guys. But I want you to be honest about how your relationship is with dad and your brothers, and you even have a granddad that you're close to that teaches you a lot of stuff. So talk about having a man of God in your life and what that does for you.
Well, Dad teaches me how to make beats and produce and rap, so I make songs. And I watch movies and shows with Grandpa, and I play outside with Grandpa, and I play football and stuff, and play together, and we watch a lot of stuff together.
Good. And so, what about you, Dominion? The king. This is my 12-year-old going on 60. His voice is dropping. You know, every day he come in the room, he done grew another foot. So, talk about having a dad and a grandpa in your life, and how you feel about that. People, you even have coaches that speak into your life too. And so, how does that feel? And you know, talk about it.
Having a dad is great, especially as you as my dad, because you'll move or whatever you need to do to like help us, because you said families first, so you do whatever you need to do. Grandpa, he just speaks a lot. He teaches me how to do stuff like in the yard and stuff like that. And my coaches, they always speak stuff like you said, powers in the tongue, and they speak good stuff over me, and I feel like that helps me when I do football and basketball and all that.
Good. Now, we have Yes. So, Yes, how is it to have, you got grandpa and you got dad, talk about being a kid, you know, having people to help you or just having fun with. Talk about it.
So I have a dad, so whenever I need something, he always help me. And when I have a grandpa, I can play Roblox with him.
All right. See, grandpa plays Roblox with them, which he's playing the video game with them, building worlds. And you built a room the other day, a building, right? And so that was awesome as well. And so these are our boys, and I wanted the world to see, because everybody knows the story about growing up without a father. That's in a lot of rap music and so we already know what that narrative is. We are trying to show you the narrative of guys that are devoted to their kids and to the wives. We're gonna talk about that a little later. But I changed my schedule for my kids. I don't put it used to be, they said the hierarchy of life for a man: God, wife, then job or whatever, then family was something that went down here. As long as you got your wife up here, you good. But it's God, wife, church, job, family, or something like that. I'm like, no. God, wife, family, to me, is on the same tier. Why? Because you can't love God if you can't love her. You can't love God if you can't love them. God's life is your family. And so how could you look, you know what? I'm gonna divorce you and go and pray. Or I'm gonna treat God good, but I have no words for you. No. The way you love God is through them. The way you love God is through your family. So I had to reassess everything. To tell people, hey man, if my kid have something, I'm sorry. You know, and not only being there is one thing, but I am fully engaged, which means I am not pastoring when I'm on the sideline with my child. I am fully engaged in his game, as he knows. When daddy is yelling, I'm yelling for him. Go, or move or shift or something. I'm not on my phone trying to handle business. If I'm handling business it's halftime or it's a timeout, and I send a quick text, but I'm fully engaged, which means he doesn't have half of my attention. Daddy, did you see my touchdown? No, I was looking at my phone. No, I'm fully engaged. I'm fully engaged in my family. So that's what we are as husbands. When it's time to do things with the family, you got to be fully engaged. One of the things that I had to do is manage my time in the studio because I was home, but I wasn't engaged. I was in the studio. And when you're in that black hole, you know how it is. It's just you in there till you come out. No windows. You like, man, I went in and it was 6 o'clock in the morning, and then now it's 9 o'clock the next day. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it is. And so we have decided to be men of God that fully engage in our families, fully engaged in everything that we do. And so we just wanted to show you that. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us today. And we'll be back with the next session right here at Free Life. Happy Father's Day.
Peace. Peace.